Yesterday we left camp, went to Devil's Corner for lunch, and then made our way here to Hobart, where we are for the next 10 nights. It's a Saturday, which means the Salamanca Markets are on, and that's where we're headed.
She's probably making more than any of us.
Yeah. Okay, we're going up here.
Cool. Stoked. We're taking a drive out to Port Arthur for the day. It's got a huge convict history, and there's that other thing that we won't talk about. So this bridge changes lanes, what, like midday?
I think just depending on the time of the day.
So just at some point during the day, it changes from a 3-2 on one side to a 3-2 the other way for the flow of traffic.
Yeah, but I'm not going to listen.
Penitentiary is certainly the most restarted. More than a few convicts would probably give Big Mark a wide berth while we were staying there. Close to the harbour is the watchman's quarters. Of main interest there are a number of photographs taken during occupation.
So the flour mill, the granary, it failed, and they converted it into a penitentiary, which is where they housed all the convicts who were repeat offenders.
Okay, thanks.
If they did something wrong, they would come here for sentencing,
Right,
etc., etc.
etc., etc. So days is allowed everywhere here except for on the cruise and in the house museums. So when one of us wants to go into the museum, we swap. This is the commandant's house. It's more like a mansion for those days. Huge. Absolutely huge. Port Arthur burnt down a couple of times. There were a fair few fires, 3 major fires that burnt down lots of Port Arthur's buildings. Port Arthur also changed its name to Carnarvon to basically change the appearance of the town, or the perspective that people had of it, and then they changed it back to Port Arthur eventually. Behind me here is the asylum, which also burnt down. The clock on the top is from the penitentiary, and the asylum became the town hall for all the lunatics. I'm about to go into the separate prison, which is next to the asylum. The separate prison used to be a place of silence. The guards actually spoke to each other in sign language, and prisoners weren't allowed to talk to each other or anyone else unless they were addressed by an officer.
Reception of prisoners. Rule 21. All convicts upon being brought to the
It's a very important historic site.
It says the Tessellated Pavement is an intertidal rock platform, a common enough sight on the coast, but here an unusual set of geological circumstances have resulted in a rare landform. The story of the Tessellated Pavement began in an ancient cold sea. And then it goes through, because it's all salt crystals that push it apart.
That's cool.
So it started like quite square,
Hmm.
and then salt gets in the cracks and it. Hello. Buddy. This is Tessellated Pavements on Pirates Bay Beach, not the one that you used to download the first season of Family Guy. You can see that the tessellated pavements, when they fill with water, make for a really good reflective surface. If you come up here and have a look on the inside, it's like the water's got rid of all the gaps, and then because there's the gaps in the concrete or like the pavement, everything's sucked onto the side of it. It's like mini rock pools. No swimming today.
Be careful, Giga.
What if it was like heat? So when we left Port Arthur a couple of days ago, I was starting to feel a little bit unwell. Ended up spending all day at the Airbnb that we were at yesterday, just doing a whole lot of nothing, feeling pretty sorry for myself. And then today has been pretty much the same. We took days out for a play to give her a run around, and then Leisha started to feel a little bit unwell herself. So it's one of these moments where we're appreciative that we've got an Airbnb to stay in. You feel guilty though that you're not taking advantage of all the time that you have, and that maybe you're missing out on things because the weather's good and you're not feeling well. But this afternoon I thought I would come down because the sunset is looking incredible. We could see this from the windows. Nothing left there really. So yeah, we're not going to get through everything. Some of the things that we want to go and do, we're just not going to get done this time around, and it just means we're going to have to do another lap at some point. Something I've found over the years of shooting long exposures is it's really an opportunity for me to be present in the moment. Usually when it's taking photos of a scene and action's moving quite fast, you're so focused on getting the shutter speed right, getting the ISO, getting the aperture, everything has to be fast, everything has to get done. When it's a sunset like this, or when it's doing waterfalls, for example, you get to really sit back and just watch the colours change. And it's important to do so.